welcome to the first training session with CherryHood. Today I am going to be going through some of the advanced mechanics that you can do in Insurgency, such as approaching windows and ledges correctly such that you don't get shot before you can see what is going on. Also, I will be teaching you how to clear out objectives and all about left peek versus right peek. So stay with me and let's see how this goes. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is windows and ledges. A lot of people, like B is being capped. You're like one of the last two people alive, and you find yourself in apps, and you know there's a couple of people alive on the enemy team. So the first thing you should be thinking about is B is being capped. I'm in a position to look at B. This is useful when both your enemy is capping and when your own team is capping. You want to try and do something in and around B. So apartments, great place to do that. So you probably think, let's go have a look at B. This is the bad way to do it. You just ran straight up to the window, and anyone from there, down there, in that corner over there, B itself, or in that corner, all of these people have just seen half of your body at once. So the good way of doing it is you've got to be a bit careful of time, but you come up slowly. So you come look at this angle first, then this one, check up that one, then this one, and then down here, and then you move forward. So you sort of clear out one height layer, or right to left, whichever one you really fancy. But I sort of do right to left at one height, and then move forward and go left to right. So you're sort of working backwards and forwards. And again, if you've seen someone up there and you've shot them and you've got a kill, you're going to be called out. So it's probably not good to come and peek through here, because now someone is actually watching this window. So generally, go to a different window and you do exactly the same thing, and you're doing things like this. And then you come close and you do it, and you come closer again. And obviously, you can jump if you want to, but that gives away a lot of noise. But in this case, if there's someone down there, jumping is kind of useful, because you can actually shoot through. But there's not too many places where jumping is useful. So the first thing is ledges. You always start back and then move forwards. And the slower you do it, the easier it is you're going to find enemies that aren't going to be able to see you back, because they can only see the top of your head if you do it right. So you should be able to see someone down there, and they can only just see your head, and you're like, easy kill. So that's how you approach ledges. Sound. So most people will hopefully know that breaking glass is really noisy. And particularly on maps like this one, there's not too many places where there is glass. So for example, if you're on the sea capping it up and you hear glass break, you can normally tell which side it is based on how loud it is. So if you hear the two different things and you're sat in a corner like this and you hear glass going off behind you, they're either coming through this door or this door. So this is a position where you have to look two different ways. So if you know where they are, it might be useful to do this, because you have a right peek advantage, and then get into a position where you can watch both of them with the better angle. So a lot of people, they hear the glass break and go, oh, I'm going to watch this way. They're definitely coming this way. But remember, they can use glass as a decoy. So something I did once is I got here, shot that glass, and ran all the way around this side. People were still looking at the opposite side of C. So you can use glass as a decoy, and then you come in here and you go, well, they're likely to be looking at that side. So you should be able to come around here. Even though it's a left peek, you should have an advantage, because they're now thinking, oh, you're coming from where the glass was broken. So you can use sound to try and tell where people are coming from, and also you can use it to distract people. The only thing with the distraction is the closer to it you have to be to actually shoot it, you've then got longer to run around here. And when you're on the objective and you hear the glass break, and you've waited 10 seconds or 15 seconds, you go, hang on, they should be here by now, then you've got to start thinking they could be coming from the other side. So sound is really important, but it can be used against you occasionally. but most of the time when it's a tense situation, people will forget to use sound as a decoy and they'll actually give themselves away by it. So another important thing, when you're on objectives and you're sitting in a corner like this, you're looking at this angle, and if they've just spawned, it's highly likely that they're going to come on either there or into mop room. So if you're sat here capping up C and they've come from spawn and you go, oh hey, C is blocked, as soon as they get on, this is the first place that you're going to encounter them. So every time you're on an objective and you're sitting in a corner, you should be thinking, if I get blocked, where is the first place that I can encounter them? And obviously it's behind this. Then, so you want to go in a position where you'll get a good advantage on that. So behind this counter will offer you some kind of protection. And then you go, I didn't see anyone there, therefore they must be in the mop room. So you come around and get a right peek. Actually, probably want to start peeking from here, in case they're sat in that corner. So every time you're on an objective and you're sat in a corner, the first thing you should be thinking about is, if someone blocks this, where are they going to be? And also when you're choosing your corner, if you go prone somewhere like this and you get blocked, then you have no hope of telling where they are on C. You've got to poke your head up to get any information. So anytime you're on an objective, always sit in a place where you go, I can see at least a part of it, and I've got good angles for them coming on, and I know if I can't see them when they get on, where they're going to be and how to deal with it. So it's always good in this game to have a plan of what you're doing on an objective. And even if you're trying to get to an objective, usually it's a good idea of, where would I be sitting? You know, for example, and let's say they killed your workshop player, you're on Insurgents now, so you know that your workshop player died, and they've got on C pretty quick after that. You can come up here, you go, well, they've got on C pretty quick, so he's likely in that corner. So you can just do a simple thing, and you can actually see the guy and shoot through the edge of this corner. And if he's not there, then you go, well, now I've got to start being careful coming in here. But normally, if they kill workshop and they're capping C quickly, they're going to be this end of workshop, this end of the objective. So it's also useful to know where the people around you have died. So I'm now going to talk about leaning and jump peeking and sliding across. So everyone knows workshop. You got a couple of spots, one set up there, one in here, and one just behind this glass, right leaning like this. So, and your target from here is actually to go to B. You don't want to engage in a fight here. So there are several ways you can cross. You can either just run across. Wouldn't advise that one. You can jump across. Or, well, I need more speed actually. Or you can slide across. So depending upon what your goal is, you might want to do different things. So running across is pretty much always the worst option to take. Never just run across an open doorway. So your options are slide or jump. Now notice when I do the jump peek, I turn in the direction and then you carry on running. The whole idea of the jump peek is to get some information. You can see them, but you can't shoot, so there's no point in stopping and trying to take a battle. You just want to keep your momentum and run on. Then you go, right, I had information, what am I going to do with it? The problem is, if you jump peek past this door and someone is sat here, you have just landed right in front of them, and they're going to have an easy kill. So if you suspect people are going to be there, you want to clear out somewhere that might be detrimental to when you actually land. So you might want to just do a shot through there. So the other advantage of jump peeking is if I'm sat in this sort of position, I'm going to be aiming at this height. That's normally your chest height, and my recoil is going to take me up there. But if you jump, that's going to be your legs, and my recoil is going to take you to the chest. So I'm never going to be hitting your head. And I have to follow an arc if I really want to be accurate. So it's just harder to hit you when you jump. And the reason why in a place like this I don't like sliding is I'm right here. My head is about the height of that handle. And if you notice, when I was here, I was aiming this sort of height. So when you slide past, yes, you're moving quite fast, but it's actually, if I hit you, it's going to be in your head, and you haven't been able to see anything about me. So you generally slide past when there are obstacles that are low to the ground and getting in your way. So in a place like this, I wouldn't really advise it. But in a place like this, for example, and you want to get across this gap, this bit here is slightly lower. So it might be worth, well, I didn't get enough speed, but it might be worth sliding from here, and you're going to stand up here. And it's always important when you stand up from your slide to be hidden, because you have 0 momentum when you stand up. You see, you stop. There's a brief second where you stop. So remember, if you're ever sliding, you have to end your slide behind cover. I'll talk about left peak and right peak. Right peak is when you have a wall or a corner or an object on the left-hand side of you, and you come round holding your right strafe, or forward and right strafe, whatever you want. So this is called a right peak. So the reason why a right peak is so important is if there is someone sitting and watching this angle, and you're sort of crouching and coming around here slowly, you actually get into this position where you can aim and shoot, and they can barely see your elbow. And so you actually have a pretty good chance of killing that guy. Whereas if I come around from this side, and I have the wall on my right, and there's a guy sat down there, when I come into this position, they can practically see half of my body. So they just have a lot more to aim at you. So it's generally a good idea to take people on with a right peak. And also, you see any sort of sharp changes in geometry, you sort of get to learn this, sort of things that jut out, things that have a solid line like this. People are going to be sitting watching those angles, because it's the most likely place that someone will come round. There's no point me sitting aiming there, because no one's going to be here until they've come around there. So people always sit and aim here. So when you're coming around any kind of obstacle like this, you've got to be thinking someone is going to be watching that. So you want to come around aiming down sight, and if you can, you want a right peak advantage on it. So I can shoot you from here and get the kill. How much of me can you see?
Elbow. No, only elbow.
Yep, so I can get the kill from here. So I can see his right shoulder, his butt, his elbow, and his foot. That's actually his left, but yeah. The right side of what I can see. So now, if you come into a position and watch this way, so just go crouch in that corner. I'm going to come around. I can see your elbow. I probably get a good kill from here. How much of me can you see?
Almost everything from you,
yeah,
except one elbow of the arm.
Yeah, so the difference is huge. However, one place that it does work is if you're crouching and you're holding lean, you actually negate all this. So that's okay. So for example, if you want to hold a position, you're absolutely okay to do something like this, crouch and left lean. And the advantage of a place like this, so if you're on an objective and you're waiting for people to push, you know they're going to be coming around this corner. So you can just watch this corner and you don't actually have to move, which gives you a huge advantage. So I'm going to be showing you the difference between near prone and far prone. So I'm going to be capping B. A lot of people like to go sit in this corner. This corner is quite good. They also go prone in this corner. Yeah, it's not a bad place to be. You're in a corner. You got good sight on here, here, and here. But you've got like so much sound that people make going over here, and no one is going to have time to move slowly all the way from here around here whilst you're capping B. So the advantage of a place like this is you can hear anyone that's going to come from that side. So what I do is I go prone here, and I watch this angle and this angle, and generally, when someone comes around the corner, they're going to be looking like this. So their gun may entirely block you down there. Also, if they are looking, if they come around and they're not aiming, they've still got to move down to hit you. So a lot of the time, if I've got something that will give me information about that side, I will do a near prone. Okay, so if I go near prone here, then I'm not actually going to hear if someone comes around behind me, because this is so close to the objective that someone
Aren't you
is...
exposed at that spot?
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying. This is a bad place to go near prone. You're better to go in the corner here, because you're not going to hear people coming on this way. The only reason it works in B is because to get across the top, which is the only way to get onto the stairs, they have to run such a long way that they literally do not have time to be silent. But if someone is here, they do now have time to be silent and go all the way around. So at that point, going prone here, they may well just go all the way around you and you're easy pickings from this door. So in this situation, you want to actually sit in the corner, and you probably don't even want to aim in because you want to be able to see both. So this is, I would say, a bad position to be in full stop, let alone a near prone position. So the most useful place I have ever used near prone is here. I always do near prone on B because no one is expecting you to be here, and when they come around the corner, the gun literally just blocks you from sight, and you've got such a big target to aim at now. There's like fill your entire screen. So I just like this particular spot is a perfect example of a near prone. There is also a good example of it on C on heights. So this is the position I'm talking about. Go near prone, so you're near the doorway, near the entranceway. You can also do it on this side, because most of the time, if you've got really good hearing, then you might hear people running around out here. And also, this is so wide open that you can get information from your team if they're coming on this way. So if you're near prone, you pretty much know that they're going to be coming up the stairs. So you can just be like, well, I'm going to get you as you come up the stairs. Or if you want to play really passively and just defend C and let your team do a lot of other things around you, and then you just sit in this sort of angle. And everyone expects you to be sort of either crouched up here or sitting back here kind of thing. They just don't expect to come around the corner and you're just right there. So this is a good one for defending C, I find.
Or you could go near the window.
Yes, you can get shot from a window.
What you're talking about here?
No, not this.
No,
not this one.
Oh, this one.
That one. Yeah, usually I do that.
Yeah, you can do
No.
this one, but if you're
It's
doing that,
far.
I would prefer to go this side. It's just better to be near the doorway. You've got to be careful that you don't go too close, that you're showing your gun barrel. So I sort of use this position. Also,
Well,
if
in,
you're...
in public it works.
It does
In
work, but you'll
public,
find
because
this one it
public.
works even better. But the problem with going prone back here is if you go sideways, and actually, it's not doing it anyway. But yeah, you can, like going prone, you get shoved forward because it's where your feet are. So if you go prone, you've got that short time where you can't shoot. Whereas if you do it here, you can immediately shoot. There's none of that stuff happening. So if you're in a corner and you go, oh, I need to prone, and someone comes around the corner, that could have been the time you died.